with the small introduction, basically the general idea, why are we here and why we decided to make this discussion today. So basically, as we can see, and there are many different reasons why exactly the logistics world and the world of supply chain management changes nowadays. First of all, it's the shift of economy. Another one, we have the impact of the COVID. The companies are changing, the businesses are changing, and it's a quite popular opinion actually that the logistics environment is some sort of the indicator, basically what's happening in the economy. It is reflected into the logistics. So we have here several representatives of different logistics service providers, and it's kind of good. So there are colleagues coming from the shipping industry. There are also colleagues coming from road freight transportation, freight forwarding. So we will have like the different points of view and different opinions on what's happening. So let me show you, first of all, as you can see, the agenda, the provisional agenda. Of course, we will try to stick to this. If you have any other, let's say, proposals or any other topics to throw in, just feel free. We will try to organize more or less like a live discussion on this topic. So the proposal is just to start by the welcoming speech of the rector, of Professor Canals of the TCI, like just the brief introduction and the opinion and his view, and then we will move to the to our colleague, to our partner university, HZ University of the Holland, of the Netherlands. We have Roy Weber here. Thanks a lot for joining. So you will have probably like 10 minutes to share your presentation and to share your speech. Afterwards, we are going to have a small as well speech of the dean of the transport and management faculty, Professor Ines Tetsenko, and of course myself afterwards. Just a short, let's say, introduction, just a brief information about the program, about the logistics program, what we're doing, what we are teaching the new generation of students and professionals, and why we think it's important. And then afterwards, of course, the main part, which is discussion, meaning the open discussion with the professionals and the experts. So let me just show you quickly what are the companies who will participate today. But of course, I see that in the list of the participants, there are quite many of them. So of course, I just want to repeat once again, feel free to discuss, feel free to comment if you have any ideas, and feel free to ask the questions. I mean, we're not going to fight with each other, of course. I know that probably some of you are sometimes our competition in the market. Of course, it's fine. But here we are mainly just to discuss and just negotiate. So we have Evgeny Polonikov, the head of Eastern Department of Company Grace. We have Lilita Vecherska, the representative of MSC Shared Service Center in Riga. We have Dmitry Solovyos, the Energy Sector Market Line Manager, the representative of company Jeffcom. And we have Liana Karpushina, the Intermodal Manager Latvia and Estonia from container ships. And of course, our special guest, as I already introduced, Mr. Roy Weber, HZ University of Applied Sciences, from the Netherlands. So let me see if we have the possibility now to hear the introduction part of our rector, Mr. Canals. Please let us know if you are available at the moment to speak. Okay, it might happen that it's not, so no worries about this. I was informed that they have some sort of the discussions prior to these meetings. So that is why I propose to move immediately to the next part. So please, Mr. Weber, would you give us just maybe short speech about the logistics, well, say your experience, how it's happening in the Central Europe, what are your specialization and how are you dealing with the students?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Roy Weber. I'm a lecturer at our program at the HZ University of Applied Sciences. So I'm going to explain you a couple of things, our developments also in our university, but also our program, and I hope to do that in 10 minutes. Is it possible, you can hear me also? Yeah. Is it possible that I also share a PowerPoint, Alexander?
Can do this. Do you have the option?
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead. I will stop
Host
sharing my screen.
disable participation. Maybe. Yeah.
Now you're able to share your screen.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain developments, a couple of developments, and also our program. We work together and we have also an applied research group. That's a group, it started in November 2018. And from our education, we have we do research on supply chain. It's called supply chain innovation. I'm going to explain more in depth what kind of different projects we are doing now. So I will introduce that also. You will see here our research department now, we do research on 6 topics. One topic is the automation and robotica. The second one, autonomous transportation, digital transformation, rail corridors and shuttles, zero emission and offshore wind. So these 6 topics are in our research department. We're working on that together with companies, big companies, but also with students. So we do that together. When we look at automation and robots, we see that, the world is changing nowadays. And we see here in the Netherlands that it's really difficult to fulfill functions at companies. And most of the companies are thinking, okay, can we change from working with humans to more automation in companies? We work with a big group, Zeeland Connect, that's here in the Netherlands also. And you see that because of it's really difficult to find good persons for the companies, we have to fight against also aging. People are getting older. We train people, and we need to train people also for different skills, because working with robots requires really different skills than we are used to. The second one is autonomous transport. Here in the Netherlands, it's really the state of the art doing research on this different part. For a total of the Netherlands, they're looking at our university, what kind of improvements we will have. And we think of how is it working? Working with an autonomous car or truck, how is that working in real life? We have pilots driving on public roads with this, but also a pilot driving between terminal and shipper. There's a pilot 5G blueprint. How can we be sure that the digital connection with the autonomous vehicle and the person who is driving far away, that the connection is still available and it's not gone. Digital transformation. We see that because of the changes, because of that the world is changing and a lot is more difficult, digital, people need to have different skills. Controlling a truck, it requires different skills than before. Rail corridors and shuttles. We do research on at our university for a corridor and shuttle between Flushing and Duisburg. But we saw that, for be successful, we saw that the cargo is less here in this area of the Netherlands. So we have looked for different partners to expand the project with other ports in the neighborhood, such as Bruges and Antwerp. Zero emission transportation. What we are doing there is that in this case, develop models, a total cost of ownership. When is it really nice to buy an electric truck instead of an engine? Charging capacity of batteries. What is the impact when we have a lot of batteries? Can the electricity grid handle the increasement of that electricity? And the last one is the offshore wind. We do also research on maintenance and wind farms. What is really specific in the maintenance with offshore wind production? So our vision on logistics in the region is that we see 4 parts developments. One is the logistic flow in Zeeland, the south of the Netherlands. The second one, efficiency and sustainability, really important nowadays, how to be sustainable also in the logistics. What can we change? Logistics 3.0. Game changes in logistics, new markets, entrance, new business models, new technologies, what is changing. And logistic 4 is the cyber physical systems, but it's from 2025. So it's a little bit an overview where we are going with our research department. So innovation of Zealand Connect. You see the different part here. We work together, dare to share, barge services, etc. Blueprint. Link with students is really important to do research with students and involvement with the students. How can we help them to work together, explore new ideas? And also for students, it's really interesting, the newest innovations and challenges and changes nowadays. So we see now from 2018, there's really a lot of, an increase of doing research. And we see that our students have a lot of fun, but also really like to get involved with a lot of projects. People can involved in our program in the second year. We do a lot of projects, like a port case with University of Ghent also. We work together. And so are a lot of projects. Students can also choose a minor offshore wind, and a minor supply chain and innovation, blockchain in year 4. And so there's really a lot of links with our curriculum. And I'm going to show you also our curriculum in a couple of slides. This is our curriculum at the first year. We are really a practical university. So what we do is that we work with big companies together with real assignments. And from day 1, you will see that students are working on the project in a group of 5 for students. And we've divided it in a couple of roles. And you see in quarter 1, when students are starting in the first year, the transport specialist is the first role. We are going to work with that this is the project. And under this project, we train the students in introduction of international logistics, intermodal transport, but also financial management. And you see in every quarter, there's a new role. The distribution center engineer, that is the project in the second period. And students are working on that role together. And the theory we gave here at warehouses and DC, business information systems, logistics and financial management. Period 3, the event organizer. 4, the purchasing and operation manager. And besides that, we want to develop the personality of every student to be that bachelor at the end of the 4th year in our program. Besides that, there are a lot of research skills. We train students in research skills, but also in English. Quarter 5, the production planner, stock control, maritime logistics and law, logistic English. You see in quarter 6, the international distribution manager, physical distribution, marketing, logistic project and change. What is special about that? In the supply chain manager, that's the quarter in the 2nd year, the last quarter. In this year, the 2nd year, there is a 2 days internship. And the 2 days internship, students are going to do 2 days work in a company for half year. And they have a lot of assignments from our university. And they are going to apply it in a real case in a company. In every project, it could be that in that project, there is the connection with our research department. So we do the research sometimes in the project or sometimes in the lecture also. You see that in the 3rd year, there's an internship in semester 5. That's for half a year. Students 5 days a week are going to do an internship in a logistic environment. It could be in offshore, it could be also in the human logistic, but also in the supply chain. Semester 6, most of the time there's the minor. You can also switch semester 5 and 6, that you will do first of all the minor and then the internship. In the minor, we have a lot of contact with other universities abroad, I think 300 or something like that. But they can also choose the logistic research minor, supply chain and innovation. And that minor is at our research department. And students are doing research on most of the time the 6 topics I mentioned before. But there are also other Hazet university alternatives, like data science, entrepreneurship, international marketing, relation, etc. In the 4th year, that is our graduation part, semester 7. We will prepare students for that graduation part. The graduation is in the 2nd part of semester 8. Preparation, graduation, logistic information system, management development training. We train students for being a manager in a big company. What do you need for skills also? And the students can choose about 3 specializations. One is supply chain management. They can choose that topic. But also human logistic management, they can choose working in the supply chain, but with humans. It could be in a hospital or other environment. Maritime logistic management, and in semester 8 there is the graduation part, or graduation research, and there they apply every knowledge, everything they're trained for in a real life case, and they do it on their self. So this is in short our program, but also the developments we're working on in the Netherlands, and especially in our education. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Roy. It was indeed interesting. Dear colleagues, participants, experts, or guests, would you have any probably questions or comments regarding this speech? Lilith, if you're speaking, I think we cannot hear you. Maybe something with the voice, the microphone. Because it shows like you're probably active. Okay, yeah, probably you could try to reconnect quickly. Meantime, I just had one note for you, Roy. Maybe you could comment regarding this one. So you mentioned as one of your areas of potential studies is related to the rail solution in Europe. You had the connection between the cities, I guess, with the Duisburg in Germany. So in your opinion, or maybe you have already some potential results of the study. So the railway solution in Europe, let's say as the pre-carriage or on-carriage of multimodal shipment, is it more like the complement solution to the road freight, or they are somehow competing with the road freights in Europe?
What do you specific mean by that?
I mean, let's say the infrastructure, the railway corridors in Europe and the railway deliveries inside the Europe, let's say, like in Central Europe. So the road freight solution and the rail freight solution, are these solutions competing or, let's say, complementing each other? What do you think?
I really can't say that. We nowadays do that research on that, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because basically it is kind of interesting, let's say, area of the research. If you look at the intermodal or multimodal shipments, trying to see how to substitute, let's say, the standard, the classic road freight pre-carriage, and trying to find the solutions how to do the pre-carriage by railway, and try to look at this point from the different aspects.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Lilith, would you have any solutions so far? No?
I try one more time.
Yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, I have a few questions. One of them about internship. How do your students look for internship? What are options available in university to provide this internship?
Yeah, we have a company we are working with, and they have a lot of connections with companies, but also we have also at our research department a lot of relations with companies, and we see that because we work with a lot of companies, it's really easy to find an internship for students. But we try that students will find their internship by themselves, because it's really better for students that they search for an internship by themselves. But when they can't find it, we will help them, or we say, hey, there are a couple of 3 places in a company, and yeah, you can apply for that.
Okay, thank you. And other question about digitalization, or about the tools what are used by students. Do you have any lectures, any trainings about how to use Microsoft tools, Excel, Power BI, even Outlook, etc.? So
yeah, last year we started also in our, and that is in this semester 7 with Power BI. I train students in Excel by myself in the first year also. So we see that in every year, every time we try to help students with different programs, but also yeah, from Microsoft also. because yeah, a lot of students are coming from another education, and not every student knows to work with Excel or other programs. So we train them, yeah, in the first year, but also in the second year. Sometimes with ERP, a small ERP program, but we are looking to improve that also. Because we think it's really important that they know what it is and in small how it works. But it's really yeah, a big thing, an ERP system. But Power BI, yeah, in the 7th semester, we work with that. And when students need it in their internship, sometimes that's also possible. Sometimes we will help them with their internship also to use that program.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot once again. Okay, so we have, okay, I guess it's another question coming through chat. It's asked by BRB, how did you train using Excel during online learning? Probably it's also a question to you, Roy.
How do you train Excel?
Yeah, how do you train Excel during online learning?
Yeah, that is a little bit more difficult. But what we mostly do that, yeah, the assignments are in Excel. Most of the time I show, I give a data set because we do a lot of research. So what I train is that they use pivot charts, for instance, and how to work with that in the first year. So people can really quickly use yeah, a lot of data and combine that and create a lot of charts where they can work with. Besides that, we train in a small version also in yeah, working with data set with SPSS. Statistic program. So, but in our education, yeah, most of the time it's focused on Excel in the first year. Yeah, but it's yeah, digital online. So I ask. We work with teams a lot of time with students, and we ask to show students the outcome. I give them 5 minutes or 10 minutes with an assignment. Everyone is working on that. And yeah, I choose one student out of the group and ask, okay, can you show what you have found in the data set? Show me a chart, use a pivot chart maybe. And show the outcome. And sometimes, yeah, when it's about research, I also ask, okay, this is the question, this is the data set. Can you maybe answer that sub-question with the data set I gave you?
Okay, okay, it's clear. Thanks a lot. So yeah, then if you don't mind, we can proceed. We can proceed further. I could probably give you just really quickly, maybe 5-7 minutes, the general the general information about the logistic studies that are currently happening here in TCI University, because we've been working actually on the improvement of the logistics program, as I mentioned before. We see that, let's say, that the world is changing, the demand is changing, and there are different, let's say, challenges happening nowadays. And it means that we have to adapt the study program accordingly. And a very important role in these changes and improvements are actually related to the industries, to the representatives of the industry. So we have to hear and we have to understand what is actually required by the companies. First of all, let's start by, let's say, telling that in TCI there are two programs. There is the bachelor program, the professional bachelor program, which is transport and business logistics. And as well, there is also master's program, transport and logistics. You're able to join and to step into this program after the graduation of the bachelor. It's not only compulsory to graduate this specific program, which is transport and business. You can also come from management. Of course, you can also come from the different universities, from the different schools. It is also available. But if you look, let's say, specifically at the bachelor program, because let's say those are students who will be, let's say, the new fresh blood for the industry, those who will, let's say, join the companies after they graduate. First of all, let's mention that we have, let's say, two options, either full-time or the part-time. Basically, in terms of content, the programs are similar. The only difference is that there is a possibility for students to go part-time and to join more easily. I mean, to somehow to combine studies and, let's say, gaining the professional experience by working in the companies. And of course, many of let's say our students from the last courses, like the third course, and also fourth year, after internship, decide to stay in the companies and to start, let's say, their career. What is the most, let's say, significant improvement that we are delivering starting basically from this year for those students who would join university this autumn, is that we are going to propose the specializations. Normally, when you speak about the logistics, of course, there are different type of classifications possible. If you like open the book and you try to read what is exactly the logistics, most probably you will see that it's like supply chain management, probably something that happens outside of organization, so those outdoor activities. There is operational logistics or indoor activities, something that happens inside, like the internal processes, warehousing, manufacturing, etc. And there is a procurement, and the procurement we understand other different topics. So what we have actually decided is to put two specializations: supply chain management. So basically, those who are more interested in going, let's say, in doing outdoor activities, let's say, to start working in logistics service providers. Partially, procurement is also included here. So basically, this is the work with the external environment. And the second specialization would be operational logistics, for those who are actually into the processes, into the optimization, into the planning, into the internal processes, etc. And as you can see here, some new professional courses would be included and also proposed for the new students, such as supply chain management and planning, logistics operations and process management, logistics service providers, and we are also teaching some simulation and modeling tasks in logistics. Again, these changes are not taken from the air. These changes are taken by consulting different industries, by consulting different partners and experts, by looking what's happening on the market. So this is something that we are going to implement. And of course, another important point is this one. So it's like the multiple disciplines involved over here. So nowadays, at least as we see it as a university, you cannot consider logistics as the truck itself, or you cannot consider logistics as the railway wagon, or I don't know, like a plane. This is basically the combination of different processes, including information technology, including management and planning. So this is the approach we are also using here, and we are implementing in our studies to, let's say, make students to see these things from the different angles, from the different points of view. It's kind of important, you know. So that was, let's say, the general part, the general introduction part regarding the program. probably you have any questions or comments regarding this point. If you have, just please feel free to ask.
Maybe a bit more about the simulation modeling logistic. What is about? It sounds beautiful, but but what is under it?
Basically, this is regarding. It is related to the modeling of the transportation system. Let's say the development of the distribution networks, the development of the line hauls, basically something that is actual for the courier companies, for those who do, let's say, those parcel or groupage deliveries, or those who plan, let's say, the distribution activities within the country, within the regions. Basically, some different types of the approaches, meaning like mathematical approaches, and also the software is used just to show the students and just to teach students, let's say, those approaches that are used by the logistics service providers and also by the companies nowadays to plan distribution networks, to plan transport systems.
Okay, thank you. Now it's clear.
Thank you.
Question from my side about information technologies. I hope they're not included only Microsoft Office, but also ERP systems and maybe some financial systems.
Yeah, it's a kind of important thing, because, you know, it is quite often mentioned that, let's say, by IT, we understand that students are normally taught to use Excel, and let's say that's all the IT. And of course, nowadays, let's say, different ERPs like transport management systems, warehousing management systems, and even CRM, like the customer relationship management systems. It's very important. Of course, you know, like, you know it better than me probably, that each business, each company has their own, probably somehow well designed. But what we are trying to do is to introduce students with those systems. For example, in the course, which is Logistic Service Providers, we explain that there are different customer relationship management systems, what are the functionality of the systems, why is it important, and how to integrate into the, let's say, daily activities of, let's say, of the commercial person, for example.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Okay, good. Let me just check quickly if we have our rector available. Most probably, okay, I can see that Inna Stetsenko is here. Probably you could use a few minutes, but really few minutes, because we have to move now to the biggest section of our discussion. So yeah, would you like to speak? Or probably not. Okay. Okay, yeah, then let's jump further. So yeah, dear participants, dear experts from the industry, as you saw in your invitation emails, you were proposed to look into some topics, into some questions that I hope were interesting for you and that were created according to your, I believe, knowledge and to your experience. So probably let's start with these points. So I think that, as I know, Liana, as you are the representative of the container ships, you would also love to show us some beautiful slides that you prepared. So yeah, I would like to give floor to you. So basically, yeah, maybe you would start with the short introduction from your side and the comments or the ideas that you have. Your mic is switched off. Yeah, it's now.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
So share screen. Second.
Okay, it's loading now. Yeah.
So I would like to say some words about short sea door-to-door delivery service. As you already know, I'm Liana Karpushina. I'm intermodal manager in Latvia and Estonia. In container ships, CMA, CGM, GmbH. Basically, yes, we are becoming a part of a group, CMA group. So we are not only short sea provider, but also we are a deep sea provider. Some short things about us. Why CMA are choosing us as their daughter company? So Container Ship was a leader in intra-Europe multimodal transport, and basically we are covering all North Sea and Baltic Sea. We started from St. Petersburg, Bronca, and Port till Tilbury in UK. So the largest export port, as I mentioned, it's Rotterdam and T-Port. Basically, the things that we are exported from Latvia, it's wood and peat, but wood is not like in themselves. Our customers are wood agents. Basically, they've got a lot of loading places inside in Latvia. They've got agreements, and we are taking them like a customers, like a huge agent, not like 100 of loading places inside the Latvia. The same as with peat. The largest import port is Tisbury, Zeebrugge, Rotterdam. Mostly we are importing alcohol. All alcohol going via Latvia to Russia. Yes, and definitely the main thing and the main problem which appear, it's Brexit, because all our cargoes were C status. It's like without custom. Now they are going in N status, like custom cleared containers. So basically, we need to understand that we need to research brokers, and not only brokers, but a person who are deeply understand custom process. What are we doing now? So now we have exactly in land position, opening position, it's a custom broker and custom agency person. So basically, yes, we need a person who will be able to know the import, T1, export, phytosanitary control, all docs which is necessary, and how to open and to close necessary documentation to deliver alcohol and goods from UK, from United Kingdom. For us, pandemic COVID, it's not a big problem, because exactly if another logistic providers like trucking logistic providers, they're feeling that they're really losing a lot of money and a lot of business. For container providers, it's not the same. All customers are going with us because we are more flexible. We've got the same capacity inside the container. And definitely they don't need to think how to deliver and containers, well, not containers, but shipments without avoiding any COVID cases, because it's doing by vessels. So definitely, if we are talking about green solution, we can tell that definitely vessels are more greener than trucks. So next slide will be about it. Yes, LNG. Container ships was the first short sea provider who bought LNG vessels. Definitely now it's like 6, 2 going via Riga port, 1 going via Tallinn port, but mostly of them are going via Gdynia, Poland, and inside the UK and Rotterdam, and definitely, yeah, and St. Petersburg. But yes, another thing is like if we're talking about CMA is higher. So basically, yes, now they want to increase the vessels, LNG vessels volume till 25 during 3 years. So basically, yes, we are also taking a deep sea with LNG vessels, not only with short sea. If we are talking about trucks, we've got LNG own trucks, but they're in UK, in Holland, in Finland, and LPG trucks we've got in St. Petersburg. Mostly container ships using like expedition partner trucks, but LNG trucks, it's like by us, and it's owned by container ships Siemens EJM. Yes, to be greener, we're also using rail. So yes, Alexander, it was your question about Europe, inside Europe deliveries by rail. I can tell you that 70% of all Spain volumes to our ports going by rail. So basically it's like a truck plus rail plus truck and port and after vessel. We are also trying to use rail. We are using it for delivery to Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and we are using it inside Estonia. Yeah, so we've got one rail provider inside Estonia, and they are doing for us business like truck plus rail plus truck. So yeah, we would like to also be a bit greener, to make our planet a bit cleaner. So it's my small presentation. Any questions?
Okay, thanks a lot. So, colleagues, any questions or comments? Probably while you're thinking, I could ask something from my side.
Yeah.
Okay, you basically explained partially what's the, let's say, benefits, what's the benefits, let's say, of intermodal and short sea comparing to the road freight.
Yeah.
In some cases, yeah. But what about the, let's say, in the industries and the customers? Of course, I'm not asking about the specific names, but it used to be like maybe it was, let's say, the tendency several years ago when, let's say, the shipping companies, probably it's more about the deep sea, but still, yeah, the shipping companies, let's say, targeted somehow those freight forwarders, yeah, because it's like, let's say, more stability, more, let's say, long-term relationships. But nowadays, what is your policy regarding, let's say, attracting the customers, and what industries are, let's say, the most interesting and the most potential for you nowadays?
As I mentioned, yes, we're mostly working with agencies like wood agencies. They've got, I don't know, maybe some 10, 12, I don't know, 100 places inside Latvia. They've got own contract with them, and they like take like, I don't know, maybe like a big box of all of them, and we are working with this big box like one customer, not with hundreds of small customers.
Okay.
Yeah. The same is with alcohol. We are not working with brand like Jameson. We are working with agent like Diageo.
I understand.
Yeah. So mostly globally, yeah, what business is doing.
And then those containers, you mentioned that you have quite, let's say, significant part of, let's say, those pre-carriages in Europe happening by rail,
yeah,
especially from Spain. Do you have any container yards located inside? I mean, not in the ports, but in Europe, and where exactly?
Yeah, we have. It's like called inland depots. In Spain, it's not that much. But if we are talking about Holland, about Germany, about Poland, yes, we got a lot of them. So basically, we got local. It's not only our like our depots. Yeah, we are using also our partners' depots. As I already mentioned it, we are using like mostly like expeditions, yes, truckers, and they've got all, I don't know, their own hubs somehow. Some places where they're keeping trucks, and there they're keeping also our containers, empty units, if we're talking about empty units.
Okay, I see. So, and then what would be, let's say, the future development? I mean, any services, any other areas where you see you're like developing now? It might be also internal processes that you have.
Definitely, yeah. We just started. If we are talking about local, about Latvia and Estonia, we just started to operate Estonia ports. So basically, we've got a lot of things that we should develop and how reorganize. But I think the most problem for container deliveries now is empty units leakage. So basically, we've got a lot of clients, but we don't have a capacity. Empty unit containers unit capacity. This is a global thing, not only inside Europe. Or inside of Europe, okay, we know that during 2-3 weeks we can provide empty units and deliver and load and unload all necessary goods. But we are talking also globally. If we are talking also about China, I don't know, America, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, regarding the availability of equipment nowadays, I suppose Lilita would invite as the next speaker, as a representative, let's say, of the shipping company, would tell us more about the situation happening nowadays. But regarding short sea, regarding European shipments, what's the situation with the containers? Let's say if we take the import-export balance.
Import-export balance is one of 30% of import, 60% of export.
Okay, so how do you compensate?
Basically, we are just sending full units, yes, and on vessel we are sending empty units to cover all our export volumes. So.
Okay, I see. I see.
Yeah. So yeah, we should use a space on the vessels, yeah, to cover all necessary loads.
But in general, how do you see, let's say, the market, specifically your area? Is it like now recovering after COVID, or it's still like flat?
We won't. I can't say that we have some decrease. Volumes are increasing, and we understand that we can cover only, I don't know, maybe a half of all volumes.
Okay.
So basically, yes, market is growing. Market is growing, but capacity on vessels and capacity of empty units, not, unfortunately.
So another 50% is going to competition, I would assume.
No, they are waiting for us.
Okay. Okay.
So yes.
I see.
So the waiting list, yeah.
So yeah. So colleagues, participants, listeners, any questions from your side or comments maybe? I cannot see any comments in the chat, questions in the chat. Okay, let's see. I have a few more questions as well for you. It's actually like the common question for everybody, but let's start here with you. So regarding the knowledge of the students, so let's say of those new potential employee, what, in your opinion, what are those requirements, the main requirements towards graduates to successfully start career in your area, let's say in your company or in your industry?
Yes, we have discussion a lot about students and their knowledges about logistic. Me, I have financial education, so basically I know better logistic things than they are knowing after I graduated of University of Logistic Behavior. So basically, it's pretty, I don't know, strange for me. Definitely for now, we need deeply knowing custom documentation. So yeah, it's not only for us like a shipping agency. Yes, it's also for a customer, for warehouses. They do not know how to do exactly custom procedures. Other things, if we are talking about vessels, so vessel agency and vessel planner, it's a pretty interesting thing, but we don't have a lot of people who know how to do it.
Okay.
So they are knowing everything from hand by hand. So, and
Okay,
yes, and as already mentioned, it's IT. Definitely, it's IT. Should be IT systems.
but in IT, do you mean like the general, let's say, understanding and the willingness to learn and the ability to learn, or specific any programs that should be?
No, I don't think about the specific every programs, because we during 4 years we've got three new programs, and another one will be implemented after 3 weeks. So basically, they need to understand how to use them, where to find the necessary thing. I don't know, maybe even to whom should they ask to get a reply.
Okay, I see. I see. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, okay. I will ask one more time. Any questions to Liana? Any comments regarding this, or we move further? Okay, so yeah, I propose to continue with the marine theme with the shipping industry. So, Lilita, probably you could share your experience or your ideas. Well, first of all, regarding let's say the contemporary trends and news in your industry. Of course, I think it's kind of interesting to know what is the situation nowadays with the capacities, how it happened, how it changes, what can we see the bright future. Yeah, and of course the same, your industry's customers and attitudes towards innovations and green solutions.
Okay, so my name is Lita. I'm from MSc. Currently, I'm working for MSc Service Center, Riga. So previously, I started in agency in MSc Latvia. So a bit hard role for me, because I need to speak about MSc in general a bit, but also, of course, main focus is still about Service Center and functions that we support. But if we speak about industry in general, yes, shipping, sorry to say, but we are in gold period, so everything okay. If before, yeah, before a salesperson, commercial people need to go and looking for clients, and now clients arrive to us, and we decide who will join our containers and who will be sold with us. So the same with prices. So they're coming up and up. So I guess there are also some forwarders. So please be ready. Prices will not going down in nearest future. And if you're interested, ship now, or maybe yes, and we need to wait quite big time, because yeah, the reason of that. Vessels overbooked, new vessels, of course, order it, but they're not to be ready so soon, and they will come after a few years only. And container shortage, of course, yeah, that's arrive this booming in the import side, when a lot of cargo is waiting and coming from Far East. And a lot of export, because still business alive, and everybody try to survive. Yes, about container capacities, as I mentioned, a lack of containers still in place, and unfortunately for our Baltic region, we don't have very expensive cargo here. So, and if speak globally, and there need to be done like global decision, it's better to sell container from Antwerp directly than to transfer empty container, deposit them in Riga and sell like more cheap cargo from Riga. But in general, globally, yes, the price is coming, containers shortage exists, and yeah, and such conditions still will be in place. So in this case, all lines, I guess, looking for well-paid cargo, and maybe a bit more skeptical for some long service contract to be signed, and this is done for a very well-known with good relationship clients, so loyal clients only, who could provide really big volumes. And even if we speak about the service contracts, before, if you sign service contracts, they're like tenders and you have nominations. So we agreed that with such client, we are going 100 containers monthly, for example. Currently, yes, if it's 100 containers under service contract, it's okay. If something on top, it's going already under another price immediately. So, and this is something that's strongly followed up also, and it's like it's trend. About the targeted categories of customers and industries, as I mentioned, so yeah, we still keep a good relationship with our loyal partners, and we'll continue to do it. In general, I guess all shipping line and industry became more flexible in providing solutions. So now we don't speak only about sea freight and deep sea shipment. We speak about how to involve rails, we speak how to involve truck, we think in other ways. And one of example, it's this Taiga service that now currently it's possible to by rail arrive cargo to provide cargo from China by rail to St. Petersburg and then ship it whatever you want. So, and it's of course it's faster, and it's the way how to work it. Same, we are focused on our clients to provide to find the better solution for them, not only follow up their rules, but to choose, maybe make a resource and yes, to make any resource to find something new that could be beneficial for clients. And this is also kind of trend, and that will continue to be on market. About green solution and equipment, so I would say the MSC, it's in general like a green company. So as we family company, and of course, family is focused not only like short-term profit, but looking forward for nice, bright future, not for themselves and their child, but for more people after them. And in this case, there are a lot of different global programs are going on, and we invest in specific ships to be applied, and some specific this lower sulfur will be used, and scrubber system. So and we have sustainability report and follow up like different areas, how to support, how to take care about ocean, sea, how to take care about people, and yeah, and so on. And in generally speaking, that's already mentioned by Liana, container shipping is the most environment friendly form of cargo transportation. So this is something that yeah, by coming by default, and still shipping line are pushed a lot to do something good, and we do a lot, yeah, including the decarbonization program, yes, where we invest money for resource and development, some other better solution of fuel, and yeah, and different kind of options. Attitude about innovation, of course, digitalization, innovation is the key, and it's other part of big investments that coming from MSC family, and for future, the people will be only, I guess, so those who could find, again, the best solution and combine all possibilities that provide the digital environment. We have instant quotes, so you could just go and then check the price. You could do a booking by msc.com, you can send bill of lading instruction by it. And now we also announce this electronic bill of lading. So even no papers, yellow papers necessary to receive cargo. So it's quite, yeah, it's quite digital already and going more and more and more. And more clients, of course, support us in these innovations.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was very interesting listening to you. Probably, yeah, I see somebody's screen. Yeah, well, probably before, let's say, giving the option to ask some questions from the participants, I could ask one question to you. It's regarding actually the activities that you do. So we have several students as well here participating. So what's the difference, let's say, between MSc and the shared service center, which you're doing? So as I understood, you represent the group of the companies or the region you're doing the services here locally.
Yes, Eva speak about service center. So we support MSc agencies. So we provide different procedures on behalf of agency. So our clients as service center are our MSc agencies, and currently we work for 50 plus agencies, including something like Honduras, for example, and China and US, Canada, of course, Scandinavia, Baltics, Europe, and so on. For different areas, there are finance, cost control, accounting, damage storage, there is reporting, BI, so centralized solution, how to work with data, IT, customer service, documentation, invoicing, manifesting, yes, so tariff providing, commercial support, so coding, different areas of possibilities to start your career. That's why maybe we as service centers more involved in work with universities, because I guess it's the best start for student. Exactly, try himself as a part of service center and try a bit everything, because in service center we have an option of shadowing. So being in internship in one place, you have unique possibility to go to all departments and spend a few hours in each of them and to learn to see how other people just shadow, yes, how other people work. And maybe it could be something that, oh, that sounds interesting, so I need to try it next. Yeah, so.
And what's the idea, what's the logic? Okay, you just mentioned that you have like 18 plus markets providing with your services. And what's the idea? Why exactly Latvia? What's, let's say, those key criteria? Is it like the knowledge, I don't know, the location?
We were lucky historically. So, because before MSc, because currently our main office, our mother company, and we report directly to Geneva, located in Geneva, and we report directly in Geneva. Previously, we had kind of we have holding collaboration with Scandinavia, Baltics, and some Adriatic agencies, including Russia, Hungary, Poland, and that's why we are being like more proactive, starting to think how to save money for companies. And as an all service center, we start just to take some processes from Scandinavia. That it's price versus it's quite quite understandable. But it was quite a long time ago, more than 20 years ago already. And of course, we increase. And currently, I would say we already like center of expertise. So Geneva, our main office, agencies very often arrive to us not just to please, we need support, please take this process. They arrive to ask about advice or to found kind of interesting solution or to support with maybe some very global project. So for example, reporting, we now prepared a lot of dashboards for global marketing, so worldwide. So it was very sensitive and of course very interesting information.
Okay, I see. Well, you mentioned that actually the prices for containers are still growing, and the thing is that, well, let's say you have to book now because it will be more expensive in future, most probably, you know. I've heard a very similar idea. It's basically coming from the electronic industry because of that semiconductor crisis that actually happened a year ago, actually even earlier, but somehow it was accelerated by the COVID. And yeah, so if you want to buy a electronic tool, that you'd better do it now because the prices will grow in upcoming future. This is true. But I also seen the idea that probably the semiconductor crisis might end only in Q1, Q2 of next year, not earlier. So what are your expectations regarding the shipping industry, regarding, let's say, this deficit of equipment, when we might see the end of this? Or you don't want to go down to go back to basis? It's fine for you.
I guess it's now we will do just guessing. So I guess all big companies also in focus to make quite of good forecast how long we have such nice times, and when we need to go down with price and what to do. So this is something that's on our table, but I'm not, I guess nobody is to be available to reply on this question right now. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have wave 3, wave 4, some additional stamp COVID, but
let's hope not.
yeah, let's hope not.
Okay. Okay. So any questions from any of the participants? Would you have any?
Yes, I have one. Yeah, it was very interesting to hear about the rail from China to St. Petersburg and after by vessel to all Europe. What's the difference in price, in tariff, if we are taking a container by vessel or we are doing the rail plus vessel?
Sorry, I could not reply you right now. There are some.
It's a lot of the differences. So maybe it's some, I don't know, 10-20% approximately, like this, like just for knowing.
I guess it's mostly about volumes, because of course by rail you could not not ship same as a vessel, but if it's like small volume and about transit days, that's quite faster for sure.
Yeah. But about pricing, plus means, I don't know, no, in percentage. No, you can't tell.
No.
It was just interesting for me because the delivery date, yes, it will be approximately 3 weeks, yeah? 3-4 weeks.
2 weeks, I guess. Just by rail, 2 weeks from Vladivostok, I guess, from Vladivostok. So some days from China to Vladivostok, then from Vladivostok this to St. Petersburg. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite good, great. Yeah, really.
Okay. Any other
By the
questions?
way, we also have a BSC center in container ships.
Sorry?
Yeah, we also have a BSC center in container ships. Yes, if we are talking about 1 year ago, here working about 50 employees. Now we are more than 100. So we also was like it's all proactive, took all responsibilities, and yes, they are choosing us like business shared center.
Yes, yeah.
It's in Lithuanian bloods, I think.
It's a good opportunity for students. Yeah, just try to remember the companies where to go to.
Yeah.
Okay, Lilita, one more question. Maybe it's again the same regarding the students and regarding to the graduates. What are your requirements towards graduates? What's missing? What has to be, let's say, studied, in order to join your industry?
You already mentioned that currently, exactly, we don't have like one profession person, one profession student anymore. You need to have this combination with some logistic business processes knowledge. You need to know financial part of it, what profit it's provide, and it's also you need to understand how this technical part is behind on it. So how this process is building. And of course, now more and more, if you just will check CVLV, a lot of vacancies where you need like finance plus IT background, logistic plus IT background, and so on. But in general, for students who just maybe start their like study, they need to be flexible, and they need to be open for all new options for learning. Because now online there are so many courses provided, trainings, and they just don't just wait from university that everything will come. They need to do research by their own, go and check and what is interesting for them and try themselves. Because there are like a lot of introduction training, so you just could check one and then understand, oh, okay, it's something that I never will go to robots. It's not my part. But okay, let's go to SAP, to CRM, so other programs. So
yeah, I totally agree with you on this point. And indeed, there should be curiosity from students' side to learn and to search for information. And as I'm also actually representing a big international logistics company, I know that it's quite often that companies also propose studies, and there are internal universities in the big companies. So I assume both of you have the same. So when you apply, you can, I mean, I'm speaking to the students at the moment. So when you apply, you can learn both hard skills and soft skills. So this like a never-ending story, but still we have to constantly learn, yeah, to improve ourselves for sure.
Okay, yes, can I, yeah, add some words? So basically, yes, I'm totally agree with you, with Lilita, about self-education. In CMI and containership, we've got a lot of internal trainings, and I can tell you that only 25% of our employees saw it and do it. So basically, mostly of them are people who are responsible, I don't know, like a team users, manager, directors. So basically they are in higher position, but employees, like especially when they are just started their own job processing, yes, they even do not know how to use it and when to see it. But basically, yes, we have a lot of internal trainings about a million things, not only about vessels and containers.
Yes, this is true. This is true. Okay, thanks a lot for these opinions. Let's move on. So I would invite Dimitris Solovyos, yeah, from company Jeffka. So could you share with us your thoughts, let's say, regarding the trends, news in supply chain management, specifically freight forwarding, meaning 3PL? Would be also interesting, by the way, to hear about the 4PL and your experience in 4PL. Let's say, what are those modern solutions, services of 3PLs and 4PLs? And of course, again, let's say the innovation and the solutions.
Yeah, thank you, Alexander. Good evening, everybody. To support my verbal speech, I prepared a few slides, so it will be easier to understand my thoughts. So I will try to share my screen. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So basically, I've been asked to give my opinion on the following questions. Describe contemporary trends and news in logistics and supply chain management from 3PL and 4PL perspective, as well as what, in my opinion, are key solutions and services of modern 3PL and 4PL, and my position regarding innovation in 3PL. So I would like to start with the few slides from the company presentation that actually phenomenally, but as a paradox, but I'm not using those slides that much because they are very generic to my mind. And normally when I have a meeting with the customer, I don't have that much time to, let's say, to speak about general stuff. But it became kind of a slogan of our company, and I'm representing company Jeffco. It's a Russian-French organization, international, mainly working in 3PL mode and also 4PL mode. So basically, those slogans and those words that you will see became a kind of a motto for the company, but the origin of those words are not prepared by us. It's feedback from the customers. So there's been several surveys made by international independent experts. And as a result of those surveys, they have prepared together with the management of our company some, let's say, highlights. So first of all, companies and customers, they more tend to see a long-lasting cooperation rather than spot or ad hoc cooperation. Of course, ad hoc and spot businesses are still, or projects are still the case, but let's say what I see is that the world is moving more to the long-lasting cooperation due to the several facts, because of the cost, because of the administration, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so some predictability and so on. First, what I would like to say also is that in an increasingly complex and uncertain world, and basically this slide was made before the COVID, and we see that all the speakers mentioned the huge issues related to equipment availability, capacity shortages, and so on and so forth. We see that the markets are, especially for the sea freight and air freight, are very vulnerable. Maybe for road freight and rail less, but again, still with a lot of uncertainties. So during those times, most of the customers are looking for some change, internally and externally, definitely. So they would like to make it quick, fast. They are looking for major supply chain players. So we see that even as Jeffco, we are sometimes not qualified by the customers because they see us as, let's say, maybe niche player or a regional player at some point. If we are not covering 100% of the geographical locations, or when our service is not full, so they do the preference to the bigger players. And of course, I don't have to repeat it, but it's cooperation. Yeah, so it's how to say, it's not only proposition from one side, but definitely listening to the customer and going, let's say, to the future hand by hand. And in order to, and these are my thoughts, these are my let's say notes regarding the temporary trends and in logistics and supply chain management. So as a first one, I put digitalization. I would say this is for sure far the most required element today. So customers are not just willing to get a transportation from A to B, not just an information by email or a phone call, but they would like to see where their shipments are online, let's say. They would like to reduce as much as possible administrational costs and issues. So definitely digitalization is one of the contemporary logistics trend, not only in logistics, but in logistics as well. As a second point, I would highlight level of integration and scope of services that companies are providing. So we see that more and more carriers, asset holders like container ships, like MSC, like Maersk, I mean, not only shipping lines, but also trucking companies, for example, in the Baltics, like Girteka, like Crace, like others, they are more and more widening the scope of their services. So they are not anymore a pure typical 2PL service provider or equipment owner, but they become more a 3PL operator. And also, let's say, they are widening the scope of the services. So they go much far beyond their initial scope of services. For example, if that was a sea freight operator, they provide rail service, they provide warehousing, let's say, not only warehousing, but all the added value operations. They do other type of logistic services, consultancy, customs brokerage, and so on and so forth. So they understand that customers are looking more and more to the integrated operators rather than on pure service providers like 2PL. Of course, someone needs to drive the truck, and some company need to operate the ships. Most probably, those small, mid-size, and big companies, 2PL companies, if they are not, let's say, increasing level of integration or scope of services that they are providing, they will become a subcontractor of the big operator. So probably they will not be so well recognized on the market with their brand name, only among the logistics operators, not to the final customers. One point that I have mentioned already is wide geographical coverage. As I said, sometimes customers are not selecting you, so you are not shortlisted just because you are not able to cover the whole scope of the RFQ tender and so on. Yeah, definitely sustainability and social responsibility is one of the crucial, let's say, aspects. I wouldn't say that it's becoming a must in some cases, but I wouldn't say that it's a priority number one. Still, as I see, still companies, especially affected by crisis, by COVID, are looking for productivity, price, rather than on green and social responsible solution, even though they have policies and they are, let's say, saying, hey, we would like to be green and so on and so forth. But then when it comes to the, let's say, to choose between the price and the green solution, then in most of the cases, price wins. Innovation definitely is the key of future success. I wouldn't say that 3PL companies and 4PL companies are very much investing into the innovation. I would rather say that more 2PLs or startups, or even absolutely new companies that are not coming from logistics, but from other segments, are much more innovative and let's say implementing those innovational points into the logistics. However, definitely, let's say, companies and customers are waiting for the innovative approach. I would say that the revolution of innovational revolution is still ahead. It's not. I cannot say that it's happening today that much. That's my opinion. Of course, you can argue. Flexibility, definitely one of the points that customers are looking. And the last but not least is competitiveness. Yeah, that's in a few words from my side. If you have any question.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dmitry. I will probably start with one question from my side that I have. Just would like to hear your professional opinion regarding this. We can actually see that nowadays in the market, there are quite many reorganizations happening, especially in freight forwarding and in 3PL, like companies join, companies buy other companies. Yeah, let's say if we look at, for example, at DSV, yeah, so they got recently the purchase of Panalpina, then another company is joining. So in your opinion, is it like the good trend, and would it be beneficial for the industries, for the customers in the end?
That's a good question, Alexander. Thank you. I would say that this process has not started today. It's been for quite years since companies were doing mergers and acquisitions. We saw many examples like DB Schenker, DHL, Geodis, Jeffco, and so on. I would say it's from one side, it depends on the strategy of the company. So if the company is open to new challenges, if it's let's say headed towards investment and development, definitely they are looking for such deals. So they are looking for companies to buy and so on. So they use the opportunity of, let's say, crisis. Yeah. On the other hand, I see many companies at the same time are shrinking and diminishing their position. So they are more in a cost reduction position. Yeah. So it depends. I mean, how brave you are. If you have a balls, sorry to say, probably you can persuade your shareholders and let's say it's a risky game, of course. Mergers and acquisition is always has certain risk. You do the due diligence, but you cannot say that I'm for 100%. I'm sure that it will be the best deal. Definitely, especially due to the COVID and due to the pandemic, after post-pandemic effect, there will be a lot of mergers, acquisitions, and so on. Is it a good trend or a bad trend? I mean, it depends. How do you see on what is your opinion regarding globalization? If you are anti-globalist, then you consider it as a bad trend. If you consider it as normal, let's say how it should be developing, definitely there is less and less possibility for small companies to compete against big monsters. Yeah, I mean monsters is in a good way.
Yeah, see.
Like Liana is a good example. Liana's company, container ships. Yeah, so they become part of CMA CGM as well as many other companies like Mark-Andres and so on. So they bought. I mean, they understood that there is no future, especially in such a volatile market as sea freight. So, yeah, if I answered your question, I know.
Totally. Thanks a lot.
Yes, I can tell you, like we are exactly. I was in this place when CMA bought us. Yes, basically we've got our partners like McAndrews also. They are now working via container ships name. So I know we really got good cooperation. Also, we are now like a door provider for CMA group in Riga and also in Estonia. Previously, it wasn't like priority to sell door deliveries. And now we're providing them very qualified service and for good pricing. So basically, it's not all about quality, it's also about gain.
That's true.
I see from this is again my personal subjective maybe opinion, but if we, since we have representatives from let's say shipping industry, I would say that for me personally, I see this trend is a bit scaring. You see major players like Maersk heading, and then sorry to say, but CMA, CGM, MSC following, and then of course you have some Chinese heroes like OCL, COSCO, and so on. But this market is pretty much, I how to say, the situation that we see today is kind of, to me, it reminds like a trust agreement, yeah, between the companies. It's not officialized, of course. It's not anywhere published, or you cannot find this information, let's say. But somehow it looks like companies agreed between each other to do some things in order to reduce the capacity, or to do blind selling and sailings, and let's say to keep this shortage of containers and so on. Okay, maybe this is my opinion is wrong, but if you have, let's say, imagine like in the retail business, yeah, you have, imagine a couple of big retail chains that are covering the whole territory of the country. So for small and medium entrepreneurs, it's pretty much hard to compete with them. So they are covering totally all the needs, most of the needs of the population. So, and why to compete that much in price if you are in an oligopolic situation? So it's a bit, it has a risk, definitely, yeah.
Okay, I see.
In a road freight, the situation is I wouldn't say completely different, but it's different because we have much more players. So we have no, in the let's say the balance, it's more balanced, I would say, yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. Any other questions or comments from colleagues, from participants? Dmitry? Yeah, so if not, thanks a lot once again. I propose to move to Evgeny and speak about the road trade. Yeah, so Evgeny, apologize for forcing you to wait for a quite long period of time, but we're here.
Not a problem. I just cannot find where can I put my camera on.
Okay, so yeah, the questions again. So let's say the news, the trends, and road freight transportation in Europe, of course, in Baltics. What's the position of the Baltic carriers nowadays in European market? What are the solutions? Let's say of the PL providers. Yeah.
I represent transport company Kreis. We are a big company based here in Riga. Comparing to the colleagues, we are a local company, so local capital grown up by our own forces. Speaking about situation on the market, actually we are also in a nice position, despite we thought that this corona crisis would affect. But our main advantage is that we are working in refrigerator business. We have almost 100% of our fleet frigate trailers. So it means that we transport some really needed and perishable goods. It was a joke. I'm on quarantine, and it's the second time this week I'm going to the shop to buy products for the whole week. So it means people eat more and more sitting home. So our part of business even grew up. There is also a huge demand of transport on the market. We see it because we have a lot of requests from our clients. We see it because it's very huge sales of trucks, of used trucks. Maybe it is somehow connected to the financial situation in the Europe. It is hard to get money. It even for small and middle-sized companies, it means that people try to find used equipment because they cannot get money for a new one. So sales increased, I would say, 10 times comparing to the last year. Also, speaking about situation with containers, we have got new opportunities. I could say that we are delivering different kind of cargos, especially e-commerce cargos from China. We deliver them from Chinese border to Europe by our trucks. So when we speak about price, it is more or less comparable nowadays. So deep sea freight from China to Riga, as far as I checked, was above $8,000 already. So it means this multimodal solution through Chinese truck till Kazakhstan borders, and our truck from Kazakhstan border to Poland or Germany or anywhere else. It's competitive and it's faster, of course, because we can do it in more or less 10 days with 2 drivers, plus Chinese side and plus border. So altogether it takes 2 weeks. So such huge players like Alibaba, for example, and other e-commerce giants, they understood that this is an option, and it has changed the market as well. When we speak about European market, there are more and more coming also the giants, and I agree to colleague from Jeffco that Amazon increasing rapidly. So we started to work with Amazon 3 years ago, and cooperation increased dramatically in these 3 years. So it means they just going in, buying, even not building, but buying just warehouses in the country. For example, they came to UK, France, and Germany. Now there are the nearest place is Poland. Next year they're planning to go inside Baltics, and this is completely different story of cooperation for a trucking company, because we call it dedicated fleet. So there was a question about digitalization. There is no need to digitalize some small or middle-sized trucking company when such huge IT giants like Amazon come to the market. They have their own software. They integrate their system together with your local one, and that's it. So which advantages we see? We don't have to plan anymore any cargoes because everything is planned by Amazon system. We don't have to administrate because there is self-billing situation. So it's a completely new way of cooperation. So, and not only them, there are few more companies coming into market. The same story I guess will come also. There will be the Chinese companies. It's like a political situation, disturbing for the moment, but I guess that Chinese companies will also come into European market, and people will just win that situation, I guess. There were a question about how to make business inside Europe. Yeah, this is a hard question for us. It's our main problem. Eastern European transport companies play leading role in European transport sector. That's why European authorities are fighting against us. So there are more and more regulations. The new story is this mobility package, which will start in February next year. So the only way to develop business in Europe is to follow these rules. That's why, for example, we have opened already company in Poland, because according to that rule, we will have to bring every truck each 8 weeks back to the registration country. Also, everybody says that they are following these environmental things, but at the end, it's just a protection of their own market. So in real life, everybody is fighting for their own businesses. I guess these politics have a lot of businesses inside logistics sector. I have a lot to say, but maybe these main points I could mention.
Okay, thanks a lot, Evgeny. It was interesting. A couple of questions that just came into my mind while I was listening to your story. So about, let's say, doing business in Europe. Do you think it's like a must, or it would be a big advantage for the Baltic originated company if the company has a presence, I mean, physical presence in Europe, like a legal entity, or it's still possible to sell abroad and to attract European customers directly here from Baltics?
Our example shows that it's not necessary to have a representative in there, because maybe 20 years ago, these European companies, direct customers, thought that we are still riding horses and playing with bears, but everything has changed. There are a lot of huge companies. The mentioned Girteka has almost 8,000 trucks already. They're the biggest trucking company in the Europe. So it's not a question. I would say that now the only thing, except of these political problems caused by European authorities, is the quality of your service. Because, for example, we are trucker #1 by Amazon, not because we have the cheapest price or because we don't pay full salaries to our drivers, but just because we have our KPI service level on 98%, and nobody can beat us in that moment. So I guess for European company, it's not so important to save some 100 or 200 euro on transportation, because it's not the most not the biggest part of the expenses. We're working with Ferrero Rocher, for example, and they have their all logistic budget for the whole company is just 5%. So their main business is selling these products, these Ferrero chocolates, Kinder Surprises, and that's it. So when we agreed to start cooperation, we increased prices a bit, and they calculated at the end, when they will not have to search for a truck in a peak season, at the end it's more safe for them to do it. So I would say it's not a problem nowadays to come to any European company and get business if you can arrange service level. Of course, you have to be all that mentioned Mr. Dmitry. You have to be flexible. You have to be quite European, and that's it.
Okay, I see. Then the question is the following. Basically, as it was it was mentioned many times by colleagues that digitalization is ongoing, and there are a lot of services and service providers, by the way. So, and there are new companies also appearing on the market who would, let's say, do logistics online mainly. A good example is the company Sender, probably you know. So do you see it as a challenge, as the huge competition? So what's your, let's say, position regarding such competitors?
It's a good question. Yes, thank you.
Of course,
I know company Sender because it is built up by my colleagues. We were working together for many years. Me personally, I don't see any advantage for a customer to get such platform as they are offering. But it's a trend, like it was a trend with this train solution for delivering some kind of cargo inside Europe, for example. as far as I see, it works. So a company can get new customers at the end. From my perspective, as I am from private business, I don't understand how it could work some quite long period, because anyways, at the end of each business, there should be some profit. Otherwise, it's not possible. But company center is, for example, a bubble which is filled up every year, is filled up by investors' money. I've been thinking about this topic and even searched on internet. There were one nice example, company Twitter, which never had profit, no single year. They were trying 8 years. At the end, they were sold to some big fish from Wall Street. But all 8 years, they were just burning investors' money. But there was some idea that they have to make some critical number of users, because Twitter is an international platform, and maybe when they got these billions of users, then it was worse. It was the worst to make to have some important part in logistics industry in Europe, not even in the world, but even in Europe, I guess it's really hard. So how many percent center can take from all logistic market in freight road? I guess 1% would be nice in 5 years, but it's even, in my opinion, it's some game of big investors, nothing else.
Yeah,
If I would invest my own 100 million euros into some project, I would still try to keep it till the end, until it dies.
okay, okay, see. Thank you. And maybe the last question, at least from my side, again, regarding the requirements for the students. So what do you evaluate and what do you expect from students coming to your company?
For me, it's a hard question, because I'm working already 18 years in the company Price, and we grew up together. I grew up together with the company. We had no person which were prepared for the work in the company. So all the guys, we were teaching them by ourselves. What I am personally doing, I am working as a lecturer in university, like school Victoria, if you know, Riseba department, as a lecturer, because I think that the only way how to teach guys somehow, they have to be connected to the real guys from the industry. Otherwise, it's not possible. It happened, I was asked to take part on the exams 1 year. I came and I saw the level of the students which are graduating this school. And then somehow they offered me to try to work as a lecturer. So it's just for preparing some people for my company, let's say, to maybe the best student from this school will come to us. But university is not about getting a profession anyways. University is about getting some scope of knowledge and how to use this knowledge. But at the end, what I am telling to the students, I actually came also to your university and to TU, sometimes speaking to the guys on the second and third course, I always tell them, please guys, you don't have to wait until you graduate. There will be no difference between you and another guy who just graduated school from the perspective of the company. It will be the same. So for me, that you have this diploma, it's nothing, it's not your advantage from my side. So I always tell them, please, you have to study first course, and from the second course you have to work. Go to work in some shipping agency, go to work to some transport company. You will see what is it, if you can do it or not, because logistics also is not for everybody. It's a hard profession, and a lot of people coming, they can spend 2-3 months to understand that this is definitely not the thing they want to do in their life. And what for to spend 5 years studying? Well, like with a seaman, you know, to the C school are coming 100 guys, and at the end only 30% of them become a seaman. And others say, definitely not mine. The same story with logistics. It's really hard. I'm always telling to the students, guys, it's when you are not ready to work on the phone 24/7, it's not possible. So don't spend your time. It's always better to go for practice, to go for work as fast as possible. I think on the second course, it's a good time to go to some company to have experience.
Okay, okay. So, colleagues, any comments or questions from you? Any participants could also ask the question.
Yeah, I would like to maybe give a comment to Evgeny, what he said, especially regarding the students. So I do agree absolutely with Evgeny that, let's say, university is not to prepare the specialist for a certain field. I mean, of course, they will have some knowledge, but it's more about how to cooperate, how to find the information, how to, let's say, solve some difficult tasks and so on, but not let's say very much of let's say day-to-day operation knowledge. It will be learned by doing. Yeah. What I would like to say is that for this purpose, okay, I do agree that you don't have to wait that much to start your personal career. Don't wait, let's say, fourth or fifth year of to be graduated. Yes, I would say that try it yourself when you are a student of second or third course in parallel, if it's possible, of course. For this purpose, maybe a good internship program should be integrated into the program of the university. Definitely, I mean, when we speak about a level like MBA, you don't see there people without a professional background. Yeah, so you have to reach a certain level. You have to, I mean, you have to taste the ground first, and then definitely to come to the university to get more information, because you will be I mean, you will understand what do you need and what you miss. I have a question to Evgeny. I've heard recently, maybe it's not news anymore, but I've heard that Kres is, as well as some other big road operators, is stepping now into the, how to say, you call it financial leasing or not, but you will become a representative of Ford trucks in the region, right? So you will sell the equipment as well as Gerteka, for example, does.
Yeah, you're right. We became an official dealer of Ford because of some reasons. So now we are selling Ford in Baltics, in Latvia and Estonia. In Lithuania, they have also a local dealer.
Both news and new and used vehicles, right?
For the moment, we are only offering new vehicles.
Only new, okay.
We don't have any experience with Ford, so it's quite tricky. So we just started to operate 10 trucks by our own. So we can tell about this truck in 3 years. So some actual information.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
Okay, thank you, Dmitry. So let's try to summarize somehow, because we actually slightly extended the time that we planned, but I really hope that it was very interesting for all of us, at least for myself. Again, just for me also professionally, as I mentioned, I'm not coming originally from the university, I'm coming originally from the industry, from the logistics service provider. And it was also always interesting to hear people from other companies, yeah, to understand what's happening on the market. So I would like to give like the final word to our dean, Ina Stetsenko, just to wrap up and just to summarize our event today. So you're welcome.
Okay. My dear colleagues, dear student, firstly, I would like to say that when we organizing this event today with our program director, bachelor program director, yes, Alexander, we firstly thought about the problem in the industry and how we as a university in our education process should react to the state of the market. We all know that Latvian transport industry is an important part of our country's economy. I think it's approximately 11% of the country's GDP, it is transport and storage area. And of course, now it is in the situation in pandemic, according to statistic database, transport and storage area in 2020 down 60% from 2019 and 21% down from 2018. Yes, it is difficult. Our companies is closed, and we all understand it's not only companies of small and medium-sized enterprises for us. It is real people. It's our income in our budget. It's our taxes, and of course, it's our unemployment. Of course, it is the biggest problem in storage, our transport and storage area. And I hope then that our dialogues between professional area and our education area help for us make as a synergy effect for our students, for our economy too, in my opinion. Yes, I would like to say that we need together solve this problem in our market, and of course thanks a lot personality, of course Liana and Lilita, Dmitris, Eugenie, for your professionalism, for your, I think, for your advice, because you not directly, but I heard that indirectly you give for us, it's, I would like to say, is advice when you say about internship. Of course, I agree with that, but in my opinion, it's very, very important that our academic area, our academic staff who participate now in our round table and our students, it's important your opinion, your professional view in this opinion. And I hope that our discussion, we continue. Firstly, I would like to say that I hope that we continue our discussion, and questions from our student today help for us understand our new way, our new possibility for making decision, for our synergy effect of our transport and storage area. And as a dean of the transport and management faculty, I hope that we continue our collaboration. And thank you so much. I would like to say many thanks to Alexander for organization of this discussion, for that you invited very interesting professional people, and thank you so much. I hope we continue maybe on the September or October, maybe after pandemic. Yes, we will make a result of situation in our transport and storage area. Thank you so much, my dear colleague. Thank you, Alexander.
Yeah, thanks a lot once again. So the last thing, basically, I would like to wish all of us a good evening and a productive remaining week.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice evening.
Have a nice evening.
Okay. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.